Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you an OP Hexblade Warlock Sword Bard multi-class build in Baldur's Gate 3. This is a powerful combination because there are two charisma classes here that have great synergy. I've previously posted a build for Honor Mode and someone's requesting a non-Honor Mode version, so I wanted to take you guys through this here. So, between the two of them, the best one to start with is the Warlock. Both of them come with charisma saving throws, the Bard comes with dexterity saving throws, and the Warlock comes with wisdom saving throws. Wisdom saves are some of the most brutal in the game, so if you're starting later on, you can go one level here and then switch back to the Bard. We're gonna go here because the Hexblade comes with some really great cantrips. Now, the two best cantrips in the game for damage are Booming Blade and Eldritch Blast. This gives us a ranged one as well as a close range, with the Booming Blade being very powerful. The Hexblade also lets us use Charisma for our weapon attack rolls from level 1, and we can apply the Hexblade's Curse on an enemy, which gives us an increased critical hit chance by 1, which is about 5% there, and it gives you a damage bonus equal to your proficiency bonus, which is 2 right now, and later on it'll be 4. For our spells we'll be taking, Shield is always a nice one. This gives us a +5 to our armor class. This is great when you add in the Bard for more spell slots because the Warlock only gets 2 of them. We don't want to burn through them too much. Hex is a really good early game damage option, and Hellish Rebuke is also not bad for some extra damage. And also Armor of Agathis can be good too, but Hex and Shield are my two preferences here. Hex can be done as a bonus action, and then you can do your Eldritch Blast and get some pretty solid damage. Now for our stats, if you're using the Hag's Hair, you can go with Charisma here to take it up to 18. Otherwise, it's best to go with a setup like this. Now, we don't really need strength because our weapons are going to be charisma scaling or just naturally dexterity, so we can go 16 here. If you're going with a build that's going to have, Hag's Hair, you can take the points out of intelligence and put those into there, but to keep it balanced, we're going to go with 16 dex and charisma and 14 constitution. For skill proficiencies, Deception is a really good one. This is something you'll do a lot in conversations, so that's super useful. And Arcana, you can go with that, or History. It really doesn't matter too much. Now, level 2 is when we get to take our Eldritch Invocations. Now, Devil's Sight is so very powerful because we can see in darkness, magical and non-magical. This just makes us like kind of an assassin, but if you want to just go with the good old-fashioned powerful Eldritch Blast, Repelling Blast will give them a 4.5 meter pushback, and Agonizing Blast will add your charisma modifier to the damage. We get another choice at level 5 where we can then take Devil's Sight. For the spell that we'll take, Hellish Rebuke or Armor of Agathis here. I like Hellish Rebuke because sometimes you just want to finish off a low health enemy that attacked, and level 3 will give us our Pact boon. Now, Pact of the Blade is just the best choice here because if you're outside Honor Mode, you can get an extra attack that stacks with the extra attack we get from the Sword Bard. Pretty crazy stuff. So this will be good. This merges with our Hexblade's weapon here. We're basically just taking this for the level 5 ability. We also get access to some new spells here. Now, Cloud of Daggers is nice. There's a few areas where you can set this down, and there's no save on it. Enemies just always take damage walking through this, so this can be pretty useful. Misty Step can be good for some teleporting around, and that's not something that the Bard gets access to, so we can use our Bard spell slots on that. The Bard does get Hold Person and Cloud of Daggers, but it's nice to have Hold Person early on. This is one of the best spells in the game, and this is what I was talking about Wisdom saves being brutal, because if the enemy fails that save, you get free critical hits from 3 meters range, so you can do some insane damage with that, and they skip their turns as long as they don't succeed on the save, so this is really useful. Also, I do want to mention Shadow Blade. This is a very powerful spell. We'll just take it at next level, and you don't even have to take it at all. I'll give you some more options there. We're going to go with it though. You can also take Misty Step alternatively, or Shatter. This is a pretty powerful spell too. And even Mirror Image gives a +9 to armor class, which can be pretty useful early on. Darkness is another thing here that we want to grab. So the nice thing about this is we can always swap out a spell. You can use Replace Spell because we're going to get Hold Person from the Bard, so we can swap this one out and grab Darkness this way, because at next level we can see in darkness. That is pretty crazy. We're then going to grab another cantrip here. Mage Hand is really good because you can use it to throw water bottles. So if you have like a sorcerer on your team, you can have them deal double lightning damage or double cold damage, so it's really useful. Friends is great if you're the face of the party, get advantage on charisma checks. And even Bone Chill can be okay, stopping targets from receiving healing. Also want to give a little mention to Minor Illusion, because this can pull enemies away and you can just set up outside combat. But it's either Friends or Mage Hand, depending on if you're the face of the party or not. Now, since this is a multi-class, we're only going to get 2 feats. Alert is a good one, +5 to initiative, can't be surprised. And ability score improvement on charisma, never a bad option on a build like this. Going first in combat is something super effective because we get darkness, we can be very safe in combat, so I like alert, but the charisma increase can work as well. Those would be our 2 best options. Level 5, we now get our extra attack. huge. We also then get to take level 3 spells. I like to take counterspell because it's better to not have this and it's better to have this and not need it than not have it and really need it, because sometimes some spells will just shut you down big time. Hunger of Hadar, though, is another great spell. This is not something the Bard can get unless you go with the lore bard, or the lore bard, yeah. So Hunger of Hadar is good. It falls off later on in the game, though, so I typically prefer to have counterspell from this setup. I think it just works really great. Our Devil's Sight does not work with Hunger of Hadar, however, so we are going to take Devil's Sight here because Darkness in Shadowblade is something super powerful in this game. You don't have to use that, but if you're going to play this build, if you want to min-max it, Darkness just makes the enemies not be able to really attack us at all. It's pretty good. Now, at level 6, we can continue to take the Accursed Spectre, or we can go in and add in the Bard. This is where we get a few more cantrips here, so we didn't take Mage Hand previously. If you already did, you can take Minor Illusion. Vicious Mockery, it's really funny. I love the dialogue lines for it. We also then get to grab some spells that the Warlock doesn't have access to. I like Thunderwave for the pushback, even though we have Eldritch Blast. Sometimes you want to hit multiple at a time. Healing Word, bonus action heal, need I say more? Longstrider for the buffs, really great for a team. And Dissonant Whispers can fear an enemy. I also like Fairy Fire to give advantage on attack rolls, but it's entirely up to you. I think these are the 4 best. Pick your instrument of choice. We get our Song of Rest here, which is great because that lets us refuel our Warlock spell slots. And then we'll also grab Cure Wounds or Disguise Self there for our level 2. Level 3 is when we get to take our subclass here. Go download my College of Winter Spirit Bard mod. It's really fun, highly recommended. But we're going to stick with the College's Sword here because it's great. Slashing Flourish is so insanely powerful because you can attack 2 enemies at the same time. Ignore the force damage there. Also using a mod that I made, the Dark Urge Sword and Shield pack, so go download that mod too. But Slashing Flourish with Shadowblade is some of the highest damage in this game. We also get a fighting style, which is heavily dependent if you want to use a shield or not, because you do get shield proficiencies, and dueling will be the better choice for +2 damage. Otherwise, if you want to use 2 weapons, you can go 2-weapon fighting. It's entirely your choice here, dependent on if you like to use a shield for more armor class or not. Level 4, this is when we get another cantrip, Minor Illusion. Otherwise, you'd go with like light, I guess. And for the level 2 spell here, we took off Hold Person, so we'll take it again. And we get ourselves another feat. Charisma increase is just the way to go. This is our attack rolls. This is our spell casting. It's everything. And dialogue rolls too. Improved Bardic Inspiration becomes a 1d8, and we get it back on Short Rest here at level 5. Amazing stuff. We also can take Glyph of Warding. This is pretty good because if you're a half-elf, you can put the Sleep Glyph at your feet. It'll knock everyone to sleep, which gives you some free crits on them. And then you aren't affected if you're an elf or half-elf. Plant Growth being another good choice, dependent on what you prefer there. Level 6 gives us Counterspell or Counter Charm, and it gives us extra attack. So now we got 3 attacks per action. You can Slashing Flourish, Slashing Flourish, Slashing Flourish, delete. It's crazy. We're also then going to take Plant Growth. I think this is just a really great spell. Some people like Speak with the Dead. Stinking Cloud's an okay spell. Fear makes enemies drop their weapons, which you can pick up for free. So that is another considerable option. And level 12, as nice as it is to take Confusion or Greater Invisibility, that's actually really good if you want to go full stealth. I think it's best to take the Accursed Spectre. This, whenever we slay an enemy, will give us the whenever they have the Hexblade's Curse. Note that if you have Call the Weak, the Illithid ability, it will actually override and not make this happen unless you use a particular mod to make that happen. This is just really nice for the extra damage, and they also can tank some hits for your team. And this also lets us take Hunger of Hadar here, so we'll roll with that. And this outfit is the Midnight Sparkle by Obscenity. Now, equipment from the base game, so just a lot of really great things. Now, Birthright Hat in Act 3 is amazing for the +2 to Charisma, but when you're on in the early game, even the Headband of Intellect can be kind of funny to give yourself a boost. If you're the face of the party, having some more stats is always a nice thing. Haste Helmet for the movement speed early on is great. Even the Storm Scion's Power when using Thunderwave can give yourself a boost to your spell save DC. The Helmet of Arcane Acuity is probably the true best on this. Whenever we deal damage, we get Arcane Acuity. It's just an absurdly overpowered helmet. And late game Birthright Hat is a good option as well if this is on somebody else. We're going with the Cloak Protection here. There's not many cloaks in the game. Displacement can be okay if you want a bit of survivability. Deathstalker Mantle if you're Dirge. Now for armor, the Armor of Agility is just so crazy powerful because it adds our full dexterity modifier, so we get an armor class up to 26 there. Late game, you can be the Ballast Armor and then set up your ranged attackers by going frontline. Really the best available medium armor, Unwanted Masterwork Scale Mail. The Yawn T Mail in Act 2 works great. And even the Adamantine Scale Mail early on, this could do you the whole game if you wanted to. Now, late game, the Crater Flesh gloves are good. Early game, the Wondrous gloves. I've seemed to have misplaced them, but if you don't have the Wondrous gloves, they give you a +1 to armor class, and they give you another Bardic Inspiration. I also like the gloves of Baneful Striking here. They give Bane to the target, giving a 1d4 penalty to its next saving throw. Obviously, we have a lot of really powerful spells, and we can even set up our teammates with this. And yeah, it's really nice. This does apply to our team, fitting the Bard role of a debuffer buffer. The evasive shoes work great too. Boots of Stormy Clamor, because we're applying conditions, can give 2 turns of reverberation as well if you don't want the increased armor class. Now, we also have a lot of choices for rings. Caustic Bane can give additional damage, especially since we're slashing. We can hit multiple people at a time, giving ourselves further damage. Killer Sweetheart for the free crit, always a good choice. The best in slot is probably the Band of the Mystic Scoundrel, giving a bonus action enchantment or illusion spell. This includes Vicious Mockery, so you can always do that as a bonus action for some extra damage. Ring of Protection, +1 AC and saving throw, great defensive option. Crusher's Ring for the movement speed works great too. I have the Amulet of Greater Health on here. I like to have it on my main character, but early on you can go with Surgeon's Subjugation Amulet to paralyze on a critical hit, Spell Savant Amulet to give yourself a level 2 spell slot, and even the Restoration Amulet's nice to give ourselves some further heals. Mass Healing Word is level 3 spell for free is great on this build because we don't normally have access to that. For our bow, I'm going with the Hellrider longbow. It's a +3 to our initiative. Really just use this as a stat stick. There's the Vicious Bow to give ourselves increased critical hit damage. I would also recommend even the Dead Shot to give yourselves a further crit chance. And that brings us to our weapons and shields. So, Viconia's Walking Fortress, the best shield in the game. I would also recommend using something like the Sentinel Shield for the +3 to our initiative as well. If you're using an offhand weapon, you can use a variety of different ones, but the Susur Dagger is pretty solid. Rhapsody later on is great. And Justiciar Scimitar, when you have attack with advantage, you have a chance to blind the target. I like the Knife of the Undermountain King here. This gives an increased critical hit chance, and it has Shadow Blade built in. But since we took the Shadow Blade spell, you can then grab Mark Heshker or the Staff of Spell Power, which gives you a free spell. So using Arcane Battery here gives us a free upcasted Shadow Blade. Go to level 3 here. That's going to be the most high damage option that we have because we only have level 3 spells. But what that means is that we got a weapon that does a 3d8 of damage. So pretty insane. And then you can use your Bind Hex weapon here to get that extra attack off on it. So don't forget to do that. And yeah, then you got crazy damage. And also the Bind Hex weapon makes it kind of appear here. So it will sometimes shimmer. It looks cool like that. And with our setup, we usually roll the highest initiative. Now, what we'd like to do typically in combat is try to set up, another thing I should mention, Resonance Stone will give ourselves double damage on Shadow Blade, at the downside that we're more likely to get hit with any type of crowd control type spells. So we have weakness on our mental saves. Not amazing, but the damage that we get from this, I think is worth the trade-off. We got a few flourishes. We can get increased armor class, we can teleport around, or we can go with Slashing Flourish. Slashing Flourish ends up being the best because you can see here we can hit 2 targets at once. I don't need to use the free crit on them. I should have used on the first one. Baneful Strike on this target here. They got the Hexblade's Curse, Reverberation, Ability Drain, Charisma, and Baneful Strike all from a single attack, which is fine. I'm going to move over here slightly. I'm just trying to get a second target to get hit here. What we're trying to do is try to debuff as many enemies as possible. So I'll go with an attack here, which I didn't roll the crit last time. 92 damage. Crazy. We got ourselves an Accursed Spectre that popped up. That's great because they have 36 and then +6 health. So they can survive quite a bit, which is really good. We're then going to use our Slashing Flourish. Ooh, I might be able to inch it forward just a tiny bit here and get that extra. Yeah, we got her. So, oh, it's weird. And sometimes you can't hit both targets. That's not ideal, but we don't have to. We can just go for a single target attack. I'm going to take this one out here. Yeah, 40 damage. Perfect. So that I can get in and do the Slashing Flourish on these two. And nice miss. Trying to take out as many as we can here. But we get so many attacks that we can just keep going and just keep going and just keep going. So I'm going to clear off this enemy as well. I'll use a free... No, we didn't get the free crit. But Baneful Strike got applied. Now, since we have the Band of the Mystic Scoundrel, we can do something like a Vicious Mockery. We can even do a Hold Person on multiple targets here. And we can upcast this so that we can hit 2 targets. This one is one that I hate because they have spells. Always lock down spellcasters. They are some of the most damaging to deal with. And we'll go against this target here as well. So we got counterspelled. That's fine. Doesn't matter. It was a bonus action. And we got an opportunity attack. Oh, opportunity attack. 68 critical hit. We love that. I live by the crit, die by the crit. That didn't do as much as ours though. And our Cursed Spectre here will miss an attack. Yeah, they saved. They will not hit often, but they're there for emotional support and a tiny bit of damage. Now, we have so many attacks that our best option is always going to be attack. What's funny about Shadowblade is this is a lately obscured area because this tree is casting a shadow. So, boom, easy, nice. And then our Cursed Spectre came in, missed an attack. It ate up this reaction though, which is nice because even though it missed, that lets us run around without getting an opportunity attack. Now, another thing that's nice about this setup is that we can hide out in darkness. So we can use our spell, and if you play as a half-elf drow, you also get a darkness spell there. But what's great about darkness is that enemies can't see through it, so it's going to force them around. But we can also use this to our advantage because when we're in darkness, they're blinded, we have advantage on our attacks. But even still, right here gives us advantage because of the slight shadow that we got. So yeah, that's crazy. That took them out real easy. We then have one bonus action left to go with, and we can do a Vicious Mockery for the funny dialogue. So, to a sow's fart. And they have to run out of the darkness. I would have been best done if I would have stayed in it, but you can see here the Spectre is going to, it's immune to Ensnared, which they didn't realize, so he wasted a spell slot, and they soak up attacks for our team. So this is great. Oh, I didn't have the darkness over far enough. That's fine though. But our Cursed Spectre is going to miss another attack, and then it's our turn. So great. That's as expected. What we can do is, I can't run up in there, but attacking from darkness gives us advantage on attacks, as you can see there. So we'll roll that free crit, 64 damage. Amazing. I didn't even use Booming Blade. I should have been using Booming Blade. And then we can go with our Eldritch Blast here, which does some pretty solid damage. And it was enough to finish them off. So there it is, a very powerful Hexblade Warlock mixed with the Bard. It's crazy, fun, and powerful. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit the subscribe button below if you haven't before, and we'll catch you in the next one.